It was a Tuesday, right after the final bell rang, the kind of day where the sun hangs low and kids bounce out of school with backpacks flapping like wings, searching the crowd of cars for familiar faces. I was running late from a double shift, cleaning offices, scrubbing toilets, refilling other people's coffee trays. My son Micah, barely 7, had begged me that morning. "Mom, please don't be late today. You promised." I had promised, but my parents insisted I come help my sister Kendra prep for some pointless dinner. Again. They always found a way to make me the helper, the driver, the one who never said no. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. So I called my mom that afternoon and said, "Please, just pick Micah up today. I'll be 20 minutes late. I don't want him standing alone again." She sighed, already annoyed. "Why can't he walk? He's got legs, right?" I paused. "He's 7. "And?" she snapped. "I walked everywhere when I was 7. Spoiled him already. One day that boy will grow up as pathetic as his father." I held the phone tighter, breathing slow. "I just need help. Please." She didn't say yes. She just hung up. Micah called me at 2:45. "Grandma and Grandpa are here. I see the car." Relief. But at 3:20, when I rushed onto campus, red-faced and apologizing, Micah wasn't on the sidewalk. He was in the school office, cheeks streaked with dust and quiet tears. His voice was small when he told me, "Grandma stopped." I waved. She looked at me. Then she rolled down the window and said, "Tell your mom we're not a taxi service." And they laughed. Aunt Kendra, too. They drove away. I stood frozen, barely able to breathe. The office lady looked heartbroken. "He sat on the curb until I found him," she said gently. "He was too scared to cross the street." Micah clung to my shirt like it was the last safe thing in the world. I hugged him so tight I felt his heartbeat against mine. The heat on my face wasn't from the sun anymore. That night I called my mom. "How could you leave him like that?" Her voice dripped with sarcasm. "We waved at him. He looked fine. And anyway, it's not our job to raise your child." Dad chimed in, laughing. "Let him walk home like a stray dog. Builds character." Then Kendra snorted in the background. "Maybe next time he should hold a sign. Free kid, abandoned by trash." I didn't cry. Not in front of them. I just hung up. Later that night, Micah whispered in bed, "Did I do something bad?" "No, baby," I said, my voice catching. "You're perfect." But as I tucked him in, I stared out the window at the quiet street and thought, they crossed a line. And this time, I'm not letting it fade. They wanted me silent, invisible, obedient. But this time, I was planning a revenge they'd never forget. I didn't confront them, not directly. People like them don't understand shame. They think humiliation only sticks if someone sees it. But that day at school, that was seen. That was talked about. And for once, it wasn't me who looked like the problem. The school counselor called me in the next day. She was quiet at first, then asked carefully, "Has this happened before? Family members failing to pick up Micah? Leaving him alone?" I paused, then nodded. She sighed. "I'm required to file an incident report. Not a big deal, but it's worth documenting in case it becomes a pattern." I thanked her. But inside, I wasn't panicked. I was focused. Good. Start the file. Let the pattern build. Back home, my parents acted like nothing happened. My dad sent a video in the family group chat of Kendra opening a new designer bag. "Look what my favorite girl just got for herself." Micah, sitting next to me on the couch with a bruised ego and a scraped knee, whispered, "Why doesn't Grandpa ever say nice things about you?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because no matter how many times they'd ignored me, insulted me, made me feel like I was a temporary guest in their lives, this was the first time they'd used my son to do it. So I started visiting their house weekly, but I never came empty-handed. One time, I brought over a fake apology cake. I told my mom, "Sorry for overreacting the other day. I just didn't want people to think you were neglectful." She rolled her eyes but ate 3 slices. The next week, I helped Kendra organize her closet. I smiled as she handed me a sweater to fold and muttered, "You're good at servant stuff." Each time I went, I watched. I listened. I learned. My dad was hiding something. He kept a black leather folder tucked under the bar cabinet. He never let anyone near it. My mom? She had an old jewelry box she always said was just junk, but locked it like Fort Knox. Kendra? She had a soft spot for her image. Her social status was her lifeblood. One afternoon, while pretending to look for wrapping paper in the basement, I took photos of documents I wasn't supposed to see. Property deeds. A forged loan. My name forged on one of them. I didn't cry. I just smiled. Then I bought a second phone. Burner style. I started receiving mysterious letters, unsigned, of course, from someone who had proof of financial misrepresentation. I made sure my dad saw one slip from my bag while visiting. He turned pale. For the first time in years, he didn't insult me. He just said, "You should be careful who you talk to. People can twist things." Funny, I smiled. I was just thinking that. Kendra, meanwhile, started getting tagged in anonymous posts on local gossip forums. Screenshots of her saying, "Why feed a kid like Micah when he's already broken?" in group chats with her friends. I knew the posts would never go viral. That wasn't the point. The point was the whispers. It started slowly. A party. Invite rescinded. A sponsorship deal postponed. A friend who said, "Hey, people are starting to talk about how you treat your nephew." She flipped. "I never said that. Who's spreading this garbage?" I shrugged. "You should be careful who you talk to. People can twist things." But that was just the beginning, because the real revenge, that wasn't online. It wasn't paperwork. It was something they couldn't twist, something public, something quiet, something they would never recover from. And it would begin exactly 7 days from now, at the school's Generations Day, where students bring their parents or grandparents to share a classroom memory. They were planning to attend for Kendra's daughter. But they didn't know. Micah was also chosen to speak, and this time he wouldn't be invisible. Generations Day. Micah woke up early that morning, nervous but excited. He had practiced his speech with me all week, and even though his hands trembled while getting dressed, I saw something new in his eyes. Pride. The school had decorated the auditorium with photos of families, grandparents with their grandkids, parents holding crayon drawings, even great-aunts and uncles wearing handmade necklaces from first graders. Micah clutched his note cards and asked, "Will Grandpa come this time?" I looked him in the eyes. "Not today, baby, but you've got someone better." He nodded. "You." Across the room, I spotted my parents, sitting in the front row, of course, right next to the principal. My sister stood behind them, dressed in a white designer pantsuit, holding her daughter's hand like she was a trophy. She spotted me and grinned smugly. "Didn't think you'd show," she whispered as I passed. I just smiled. The first few kids spoke. Applause, giggles, sweet stories of bedtime snacks and holiday road trips. Then they called Kendra's daughter. She bounced up to the stage, glossy hair perfect, reading her poem about how my grandma is my best friend, while my mom dabbed her fake tears with a silk handkerchief. My dad clapped like a politician. They were soaking in the attention. Then came Micah's turn. He walked up slowly. He wasn't loud. He didn't read a poem. He told the truth. "My name is Micah," he said into the microphone, "and I want to thank my mom for teaching me that family doesn't mean who shares your blood. It means who shows up." The room went still. He took a shaky breath. "Last month, my grandparents left me alone at school. They drove away and laughed. I walked home with a cut on my leg and a tear in my shoe. I thought I was worthless." Gasps. "But then I got home, and my mom hugged me and told me I wasn't. She said being kind is louder than being cruel. So I made this." He pulled out a small wooden frame, a class art project with the words, "The people who leave you behind teach you who deserves a place beside you." The audience clapped, slowly at first, then louder. A few stood. Micah didn't cry, but my parents did. I watched them freeze, faces pale, hands clenched, eyes darting like trapped animals. They couldn't yell, couldn't defend themselves, couldn't storm out without proving Micah's words. And that was the point. It wasn't about destroying them. It was about removing the stage they performed on, and letting their own silence humiliate them. Kendra tried to speak. "This is manipulative," but the principal cut her off. "Let's respect all students. Thank you, Micah." When the event ended, parents gathered around to hug him. Teachers told him he was brave. And as we left, one of the PTA moms handed me her card. "We're starting a kindness mentorship group. You and Micah would be perfect." My dad reached for my arm in the parking lot. "You embarrassed us in front of everyone." I looked him in the eyes, calm, steady. "You left my child in a parking lot and called him a stray. This wasn't revenge. This was truth." He flinched. My mother tried to smile. "So now you think you're the hero?" "No, I just stopped playing the villain in your story." They stood there, in their carefully chosen clothes, their fake jewels, their rehearsed reputations, and for the first time I realized they looked small. Kendra muttered, "This isn't over." I leaned in, calm as ice. "It is. You just haven't realized it yet." That night, Micah and I made pancakes for dinner, and when he asked me, "Mom, are we a real family now?" I smiled through the tears and said, "We always were. They just didn't belong in it." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.